What could be more exciting than Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon? Bruce Lee in Return of the Dragon. Yes, Bruce Lee is back, blazing his way from Hong Kong to hell in the all-new fantastic adventures of the superhero he created in Enter the Dragon. It's Lee, unleashed. Lee, unmarshaled. Lee, unmerciful. Against the dragon, even the best are better off dead. Bruce Lee gives his last and best performance in Return of the Dragon, rated R.
Mamma mia!
Boy, can we use him now.
You blow it! You blow it! You blow it! You blow it!
Welcome to You Blew It. This is the show where we watch turd sandwiches in HD so you don't have to. Reliving our childhoods one Blu-ray disc at a time. I'm Roden, and as always, across the room from me is Thunder. What's up, bud?
What's happening?
Nothing. It's just very hot. It's going to get hotter since I had to turn off the fan.
You sound like the Winnebago Man.
Yeah, it's hot in here.
It's going to be hot.
What's he say again?
It's going to be very hot in here. No one's going to be able to hear anything. No one's going to see anything. Something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
There'll be no more yelling.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of
No
yelling.
more.
This is an interesting one because you would say that this is a full-blown turd sandwich.
Oh yeah, I hated this.
And this for
I
me,
hated every moment of this movie.
This for me is when we say childhood.
Yeah.
Reliving my childhood.
Literally from your childhood.
Oh my God. Yeah. I saw this part of this movie, the very end of this movie. Me and my brother used to share a black and white TV, in a 13-inch black and white TV that we got from my grandfather.
Nice.
In our bedroom that got 12 stations, had the old knob that...
Did it have wood paneling on it?
I think it was full blown all black plastic.
No. Did you ever have one of those TVs that was like, it had the wood paneling on it, but then it also had like really ornate like carvings on the wood?
I didn't have, no, we had the fake wood paneling. We had a J.C. Penney or Montgomery Ward TV.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the innate
right. Like it wasn't a full on cabinet system.
No. It was just the outside of the TV was that fake wood.
Right. Yeah.
And it had a red digital display for the channels up in the corner.
Oh,
and
really?
Two big up and down buttons on top that you just clicked. Love that TV.
Oh man, the tactile function of those televisions,
great.
I miss that shit so
the
much.
way you turned it on, it had you know how locked windows in old cars, you pull it up and push it down?
Yeah.
That's what you pulled it up to turn it on and push it down to turn it off.
I think there was. And
the knob turned for the
like
volume
that too.
Yeah.
I had one. I had in this little rental house that we were living in for a little while. Like it had this little loft space in the back room. Mm-hmm. And so I would crawl up there. There was like this rickety kind of, homemade ladder that went up to this little loft. And my dad put a television up there, like one of our old TV sets up there. And I would go up there and watch Three's Company before school.
And it was probably
morning.
the same. It probably only got like so many channels. Right?
Oh, yeah. And it was just this tiny little space with this small TV. It was color, but it had those kind of buttons on it. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was like green shag carpet up there in that loft.
Isn't it weird how that stuff makes
good.
such an impression? Like you could probably smell it right now just talking about what. Yeah,
totally.
So that was how I saw this movie. Like I saw the last 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and the end with the big fight scene on a black and white TV. And at that point, then it was just, because again, we repeat this on this show all the time, no internet. The only way I could try and figure out what this movie was trying to find a book that was talking about it or a magazine.
Yeah.
And this movie was, I think, made in 1972.
Okay.
Probably. And so trying to even get like a Kung Fu magazine that's going to show you all of Bruce Lee's movies. Up to that point, I didn't know anything about Bruce Lee, and I just assumed what I saw was a Bruce Lee movie.
Right.
And But I will say this: the reason I wanted to do this this is episode 99.
Yes.
Before we do episode 100. And I bet you anything, if I never saw this movie on black and white, just happened upon it when I was a kid, I might not even be talking to you here.
You think this started it all?
Pretty much. Like, it's probably start by fascination with martial arts and movies, and then therefore martial arts movies.
I think if you had never seen this movie, you might be like 100 pounds lighter, like super duper educated, and maybe an owner of like a Fortune 500 company. Like this movie may have like put you down like a real dark path.
So the path that this splint off, like we go back.
You're loser Kevin in this
Wow,
time.
shit. I'm okay with that.
You're all
I'm
right.
okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing if that was true. I just had a fascination, obviously, like millions of other kids.
Oh yeah,
especially with Bruce Lee. Which
my like martial arts fascination came directly from Karate Kid.
Oh, I thought you were going to say directly from me.
No, because I don't.
When we started doing this show, I never watched any of them before that.
Well, I really hadn't, because that was the only thing that, like, you know, back in the 80s, it was like, okay, I want to be a ninja, but it was all based on just like Karate Kid.
Right,
stuff.
yeah. Karate Kid was huge.
Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever, you know. But this kind of stuff never interested me.
Yeah, and
I was never interested in this.
You're younger than me, and
yes.
and that sort of, I think at that point, pop culture had plenty of like kung fu, like you said, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At this point, I was never interested in those ninja movies because that stuff all seemed like too fantastical to me.
Okay.
You know, like they're like throwing smoke bombs and disappearing and shit like that.
Yeah,
so I didn't really have any interest in that. But I don't know why, but this one really like captivated me. And as you can imagine, you probably know this back in the day when you're trying to find a movie, you don't know the title of the movie, you think it's a Bruce Lee movie, and so you spend your time talking to adults on the other side of a counter in either a video store or a convenience store like Tom Thumb, and going, I think it's the Bruce Lee movie, and I think you find Chuck Norris at the end. Do you guys have it? Like that's the kind of bullshit you got to be doing to try and figure out where this movie is. Thankfully, I found it. And back then it was called it's Return of the Dragon in the United States, but in Asia it's Way of the Dragon.
Okay.
And the reason it's called Return of the Dragon here is because it came out officially on wide release here after Enter the Dragon, and they wanted to fool everybody in thinking this is a sequel to that, so it's Return.
But
of
it
the
has
Dragon.
nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with that movie.
Nothing to do. And it's so much worse.
Well, you know,
you don't think so?
No,
you don't think
this
so?
is my favorite Bruce Lee movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Enter the Dragon.
Wasn't Enter the Dragon like I don't think I've ever seen. Have we watched that for this show?
We have not.
Yeah. So maybe we should, but I don't remember the scenes that I've seen in that movie. I don't think were made as poorly as this one.
Correct. Yeah, and this is the thing with these movies that he did in Hong Kong, and most people don't know that he only did 4 movies in his life, like kung fu movies. Enter the Dragon, this movie, and then 2 others. Fist of Fury and the Chinese Connection.
Okay.
Then there was a movie that came out after his death called Enter the Dragon, or sorry, Jesus, I can't even keep this shit straight sometimes. It's called Game of Death. That's the one with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and his iconic yellow suit.
Yes.
He didn't finish that movie. They finished it after his death. So like most of the movie, it's not even Bruce Lee until the very end.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't even consider that like really. So he really only made like 4 and a quarter movies.
Right.
Now, most people don't know he was a child and teen actor in Hong Kong before he came to the States. So that's why when he moved back as an adult, people knew who he was in Hong Kong. And after he did the Green Hornet, he kind of became big there again. And he didn't know it until he went back after they were showing reruns of the Green Hornet in Hong Kong, and that he was actually like had grown into somewhat of a star, and that's kind of how he was able to make these movies.
Gotcha.
And he was following the Clint Eastwood goes and makes spaghetti westerns. He was kind of following that sort of roadmap where he went over there and figured, I'll just make these shitty movies over here, and then I'll do the real deal in Hollywood. I'll prove myself.
So
here.
I know you're sitting like kind of far away from me, but can you see my eyes glazing over from that distance?
No, I mean, first of all, I got this mic in the way,
Yeah.
and then you've got glasses on, and you're wearing a hat, and it's very dark,
And it's kind of dark
No.
in here. Yeah. Shit.
I don't really care because this is episode 99 of You Blew It, and I don't care. Yeah.
Oh,
So
my God.
that's
Well,
I'm
let's
just
get-
kind of
let's-
setting it up because
Yeah.
it's by standards of today, especially, but by standards of back then, it's a foreign movie that is shot very cheaply, but I think that's why it's endearing to me. As seeing as a kid, it's very, and I love the dubbing in these movies. I think like dubbing in
Now, do you love it just because it's kind of funny? And
it's kind of
silly?
funny. And as a kid, I didn't take it as that funny. I mean, I obviously the lips not matching or anything, and through the years, people have come to appreciate this small ragtag group of usually like people from the UK that did the voices for all of these movies. They've become kind of a thing now. Like a lot of people grew up watching this stuff and they love the way these, because they're all, a lot of them are British trying to do American accents, and they're trying to do
and it's very stilted,
it's very cartoonish.
I mean,
too.
it's terrible reading.
Yeah, it's super cartoonish. It's I love it. So anyways, okay, we can get onto the plot of it now.
Well, so I do want to say my favorite thing about this movie was the opening credit scene.
Yeah, the
Gorgeous.
animated. That's it.
Love it.
Yeah, well, cool.
That's it.
That's cool. That's it. That's all you loved
That's
about
it.
this movie.
Yep, 2 stars.
So the movie is a very simple story in that this Chinese restaurant in Italy, in Rome, is being hassled by the mob.
Yeah.
Of course, right? Of course.
And by the way, they filmed a lot of this in Italy, but they never got permits, right?
No.
So they just like guerrilla filmed this.
I can't remember how many weeks they had, but anything that is in actual Italy here is like, you can tell it's a lot of handheld camera shots just mounted on a tripod.
Completely out of focus.
Completely out of focus in some
yeah.
cases. Like, they really are just setting up and trying to do it as quickly as possible.
Right.
And I love that you get to see like
The bystanders just like walking
around in the airport.
Like,
It's so funny to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the plot is this country bumpkin from China gets sent over to help them with the problem they're having with this restaurant.
Now, I can't remember, does he know what the problem is when he gets there?
He kind of alludes to, like, maybe he does, because when she tries to explain it to him, he's like, don't worry about it. I can help you. I know what's going on.
Okay.
He kind of alludes to it at some point, like, because it's his uncle, or it's her uncle that sends him, right? So he's not a family member, but he's a friend of her uncle. And they were thinking they were going to get an attorney or someone that could help like that. But it's.
I
think
didn't catch that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, but I thought my uncle was going to send his attorney, or some throwaway line like that.
Yeah.
And I think the uncle's like, yeah, I know what's going on. I'll send this guy because he's muscle and he can take care of these guys.
Okay.
And so and that's basically is the plot. The mob keeps showing up, and he's a fish out of water. And it's the other thing that I didn't get when I was a kid watching this was it's a dubbed movie, but in the original, you've got English speakers and Cantonese or whatever the language is.
Yeah.
So the whole movie, he doesn't understand anybody because he doesn't speak English and everyone else does. And
Which I thought was a really good concept. It just isn't really. It's not executed very well.
Well, and then when the movie's dubbed in all English, you've got a guy talking to an interpreter. Yeah, you got a guy talking to an interpreter to ask a guy another question in English. You're like, didn't he just hear him? Like, it's very confusing. But yeah, so that's like he's a fish out of water and he's trying to learn the customs, all the while he's got to kick the ass of the mob. And that's basically the plot.
With the help of like a group of waiters that also know karate? Or what are they practicing like when he shows up at the restaurant?
They are practicing karate so they can deal with this, like,
with the problem.
So essentially, it's like none of them really study martial arts, but because this stuff has become such a problem, they've decided to take up karate, which is a main plot point because
Oh, see, I missed that part too. I thought they just all knew karate.
no,
Because they all think of themselves as being super badass too.
they do, and the thing is by this point, I think probably most of the world knew what karate was, but didn't know what kung fu was, and so in this movie,
Really?
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, like karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, and karate were kind of the first. Judo and jiu-jitsu were the first to land in the States, really. That and then karate, and then kung fu exploded in the 70s.
Okay.
And you know, I wouldn't say it was a thing. It was just most people would be more familiar with it, and it's Japanese, and so that it oftentimes in these movies there's always a competition with the Japanese because you know they
kung fu is Japanese?
no karate's
karate's
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the whole plot point is he comes from China. He knows kung fu. And these Chinese workers are studying karate. And so, and at this time, like karate was considered this really, like if you knew karate, that was the end all be all. But this movie is basically like, fuck karate.
Just ask Ralph Macchio.
Exactly. You get the, exactly. Yeah. Who was a zygote at this point? Who was not even not even a zygote at this point, right?
Wait, 72?
I don't know. Well, how old is he? He's our age.
I don't know. He's probably a little bit older than us.
You think?
Yeah, he's probably older than you.
Yeah, you're probably right. He was probably born by then. You know what? So yeah, maybe because
Take
of
it
Ralph.
I
You know
take
what?
it
I take
all
it back.
back.
I take it back. It's probably because of Ralph Macchio. You're right. That's why.
No, I was saying okay, never mind.
But so the whole point is to be like, look at how superior kung fu or Chinese boxing, they call it in this movie, is to karate, and that's like why that at some point they see him do his stuff, and they're like, we're gonna give up karate and we're all gonna learn kung fu because of you.
Well, it was kind of great because like he keeps on getting interrupted. Like they want him to show they want him to show them like his stuff, right? But he keeps on getting interrupted. So they can't show it to him,
which is kind of like a classic.
And then I think it wasn't it like the first time they actually see it. Oh no, because he's back in the practice alley. That they're practicing in.
That's the other thing about this movie is
it's basically a box that they built.
There are so many.
There's so many cardboard boxes in this movie.
Well, and so many sets that were built in a sound stage in Hong Kong that I love. Like this apartment, we're watching it now. This like really 70s funky Euro apartment is like completely a sound stage. Like you could see looking out the window. I love that shit. And so there's a lot of set pieces like that where the restaurant and then the alley behind the restaurant where several fights take place that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time they get to see that this guy can really kick ass is when he fights a couple of the mob guys. But they keep building up to it, like you're saying. They keep going like, hey, let's go out and train. And before they can do anything, there's always like, we've got customers. So they go in and, so that for a while, he doesn't really get to show what he can do.
Yeah.
And he's doing stupid shit before that. Like he bumps into one of the mob guys and the mob guy is like very nice to him. And then they're like, you don't even.
The mob guy that's like overtly gay.
Overtly gay. Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who loves Bruce's rippling muscles.
Yes.
And helps him tuck in his belt after he takes a leak.
That's right.
So they're kind of they're put off by like this. They sent this idiot to help us. He doesn't even know the customs, and he doesn't even get that these are the bad guys.
Right.
And so that's why it's like I think when it finally the payoff of when he kicks their ass, then they're all like, oh, they rally behind him, and then the rest of the movie is Tong Lung's kicking everyone's ass, right? And helping them kind of stave them off while they're. What's hilarious about this movie too is, other than the land, why would they want this restaurant so badly?
That is never revealed.
Never.
Like I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, I really don't understand that either.
Yeah, I mean it's just a silly
it's like in a basement
plot line. Yeah. So you never get that explained, but who cares? It's a reason to have Bruce kick some ass.
And also, according to this movie, every single like what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. Yes.
Like, God dang it! Why can't I think of
every single person? Every single
No, like all the famous spots. What's the word for like famous spots?
You have like the famous fountain.
The famous fountain.
You've got the Colosseum,
the arch, and
the city center arch.
Yeah.
Whatever, yeah. I've never been.
All that stuff is like right next to each other.
Oh yes. Yeah. It's
all in the same block.
Absolutely. You're like, let's take a walk over to the Colosseum.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
It's right across the street from the restaurant. Maybe that's why they wanted the restaurant.
Maybe that's what. Maybe they wanted to put in a real cool souvenir store there.
Yeah.
It's like perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the movie is just like a series of him kicking ass
and people just falling into cardboard boxes.
And people falling into cardboard boxes.
every time there's a fight. This is one thing that I do actually like about these types of movies is that there's so many cardboard boxes.
Yeah, and I love this one too. It's like apparently they get a lot of rice shipped to the restaurant, boxes and boxes and boxes stacked high, empty that just say rice on the side.
Right.
And then you get a lot of these fish out of water scenes, like he doesn't understand that this woman he's talking to is a prostitute, and he's trying to be friendly because up to this point he's been standoffish with all the people and his lady friend in here, which is never. It's kind of implied that they're a little romantic, but not really. Like at some point she's kind of
the niece.
The niece is kind of into him, but not really. It's not. There's no love scene or anything. They never kiss.
Well, I thought the prostitute scene, which is happening right now on the screen, by the way, behind us, is kind of silly because the niece just kind of lets it happen.
Yeah, she gets kind of angry at him, right? She's giving him this whole thing.
Is that what happens?
Yeah, she's giving him this whole like sort of like, you need to be nicer to people, and if they wink back. And then while she's doing the speech, this prostitute sits down, starts winking at him, so he winks back. And then when she comes over and he puts his arm around her, I think she's disgusted that he's doing this with a prostitute. Maybe that's what that implies. I don't get it. And that's why she kind of runs off like, oh, like you're just into this lady or you like this prostitute. But again, he doesn't understand the culture. It's like the whole point.
And then this is when he runs away, when the prostitute like comes out naked, he runs away. Apparently they're in the same apartment building.
What do you mean?
Niece, right?
No. Why would you say that?
Because he's like right down the hall from the niece's apartment.
I think it just switches to him coming up the stairs of the apartment.
Okay.
I don't think it was the same apartment.
I don't agree. But this is when we meet the comic relief.
Yeah.
What's this character's name again?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the names, like his name is Tong Lung, which I don't know if that's a common sort of Cantonese name or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Chinese name. I don't know this. I don't know the characters' names. Some of them are like Tony and Jimmy.
But I swear to God, he's the best actor in this whole movie.
You enjoy him, the comic relief guy.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but he's the best actor in it.
Yeah.
Like he knows his part.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and again, it's a 1970s Hong Kong movie, and this was considered entertainment at the time in that territory.
You are sticking up for this movie.
I do. I love
like
it.
Like it's a fucking QAnon conspiracy.
Because like
bending over backwards
to take a shit on this movie is basically saying, what a bunch of dummies over there in Hong Kong that this was the kind of movie that made literally set records in Asia at that point.
Yeah.
Like you understand that there was no cinema other than Hollywood at that point. Mm-hmm. Like you kind of had the spaghetti westerns coming up, but like
shitting on movies is the point of this podcast.
I know that, but I'm defending it because these guys are all fucking terrible actors. I don't know. They're speaking a different language. Is it cartoonish?
Yeah, dude, just like my coworker, just own it, man. Just own it. Just own it.
Okay.
Just be like, you know what? Yeah. But I love it.
It's a garbage movie. You're right. It's a cartoon garbage.
But I
movie.
love it. Yeah. That's all you have to do.
Okay. I'll own it. But yeah, I don't know. A lot of the iconic stuff that you get from Bruce Lee. You get the nunchucks, you get the fight in the Coliseum. We can thank, for better or worse, Mr. Lee for introducing the world to Chuck Norris.
Oh God, I totally forgot.
This is Chuck Norris's first movie.
This is Chuck Norris's first movie, and man, is that dude hairy.
He is really hairy.
He is riddled with chest pubes.
I mean, I don't even. It's a carpet. I mean, it
really is. It's gross.
There's so much hair, and even on his head, he's got so much.
That is it's a great fight scene, too, between him and Bruce, because like Bruce at one point like rips a whole handful of chest hair off of him, which I thought was fucking so good.
Which is like pretty smart too. Like,
and then he blows it off of his hand. But his hand, he's sweaty, so the
sticking,
hair just kind of sticks to his hand. He's trying to get it off. It's so weird and gross.
Yeah. To talk about the bad guys in here, because they haven't really shown up yet, but they have this like really mob bossy looking guy that orders everyone around.
Right. And he's actually an American guy.
Yeah, he's an American.
Wasn't he an American businessman?
He's an American businessman who ended up having quite a decent career being like the bad guy or mad scientist.
Really?
Yeah, because he was. My understanding was when you're casting back then in Hong Kong, you didn't have like a lot of Caucasian actors, but Bruce was always looking for. He has a lot of people of color in here and a lot of white guys, and that kind of was also, he gave an international flair to these Hong Kong produced movies that usually just had Chinese people working on them. And so the guy's name is John Ben, and he had a pretty decent career just showing up in these movies as the heavy or the mad scientist and shit like that. Yeah.
That would have been kind of a fun gig too.
Yeah. And
sure.
I've seen some interviews with him, and he and his brother were over there living because it was so cheap at the time.
Oh, I bet.
And so he was just living his best life, sometimes showing up in movies, but like, partying in Hong Kong, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that, that the bad guys are like, just so happen also that they have some connection to martial arts. They don't explain that either. Like all the guys he's fighting are kind of thugs, but then the henchman that's the stereotypical kind of gay character is like, hey, I know some fighters. One of them's from Korea, one of them's from the US, and the other guy's like, and so he's like, let me call them up and we'll get all these fighters over here to fight this guy.
All they need is one gun.
Yeah. Right? Like,
That's it.
Yeah. And at some point he's like, he makes those little silly like wooden darts,
Oh,
like,
that's right. Yeah. Bruce Lee's
he's taking guys out with these like darts that he's throwing around, which I think is straight from the Green Hornet, because I think Kato used to throw these darts. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually kind of cool too. Like that was kind of a cool part.
Yeah. So the other thing that this version that we're watching is actually the Hong Kong version. And when I was a kid watching this like on VHS, there was a ton of they just did a joke here, like a toilet joke, where he didn't know how to use the toilet in Italy,
right?
Where he squats gets and squats over it like it's a hole.
Yeah,
that was cut out of the US version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the joke about him not trying to tell the kid that he's hungry at the airport, and he does this like. Tries to like show like he's putting food in his mouth, and the kid takes him to like he's trying to figure out a restaurant. That was all cut. I mean, there's a weird thing about these movies. There's so many different cuts. There's like 2 different versions that are English language that have different voice actors. If you watch this in the UK, hardly most of the fight scenes were like really edited almost entirely out because it was illegal to show nunchucks on screen in the UK back in the day.
I can't remember where I heard that before, but that sounds very familiar.
Because I think it was like if you had any sort of illegal weaponry at all, you couldn't show it. You couldn't fictionalize it in a movie or whatever.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's insane.
But that's basically it, guy.
Yeah.
that's
kind of
it, right? That it builds up to this final fight scene that happens in another
in
iconic,
the Coliseum.
In the Coliseum. And
were you saying that like that was like the first and last thing that was
not the
shot
first,
in
but
there?
it was. I think it's one of the last movies that was
allowed to actually shoot inside the Coliseum.
And whether or not like saying allowed is the right term, because I think they slipped some money to somebody who was, and then kind of like when it closes down for the night, like right before they lose light, they lock it up. At least it seemed at this point for tourists. But this guy let him in and shoot kind of the scenes that are actually in the actual Coliseum are just like him kind of running around trying to find Chuck Norris to fight him.
That's true, yeah.
And then when they finally fight, it's a total soundstage mock-up of the
do you think so? I thought it was a pretty good, I mean, it's pretty
cool.
Good set,
it's really cool. It's a great set. I mean, it's a total set.
I kind of thought, well, yeah. I mean, we watched this last week, so I'm trying to remember
it,
a lot of that
Well,
stuff.
you're going to watch it again. I know that because you really enjoyed it so much.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But that scene is like, and there's some interesting ways when you watch, and again, this is directed by Bruce, written by him. It was kind of a sort of, at this point, he had 2 movies that broke all the box office records in Asia. In fact, his first movie broke the box office record set by Gone with the Wind, I believe. And so that was, that's how big he was over there. And then his second movie broke that record. And so when he was kind of re-signing, he was like, okay, for my third movie, which is this, I want to write it, direct it, and do the whole deal. And they were very reluctant. They were like, what do you know about directing? But at this point, he had worked in Hollywood for quite a while as a bit part actor on stunt guy and things like that. So he had felt like, well, I have enough understanding to at least, make something that our audiences will like here. And so in this movie, like I said, he was kind of embarrassed by it, which, you should get some enjoyment from that. But
he totally should have been.
But he tailored it towards an Asian Hong Kong audience and was more or less like never thought it would be released in the U.S. But then, of course, when he passed and Enter the Dragon was a huge success all around the world, this came out. And I love it. I love the damn thing. I think it's his best movie.
No way.
I really do.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, let's be honest. All of his movies.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
I know you do.
All of his movies are basically him showing off. Look at this cool shit I can do.
Yeah.
All of his movies were like,
and he is fast as.
He's
fuck,
fast
dude.
as fuck. Probably.
I mean, his fight scenes are really impressive.
Yeah,
like,
and
I will give him that.
Thank you.
I mean, that stuff is so impressive. And he's so fast. He's so fast.
At this time, if you were to see a fight scene, especially if you're a Western audience, it would be like the Duke throwing fisticuffs. Like,
right.
There was kind of no martial arts movies at that point.
Yeah.
And this,
yeah.
Kind of the way he shoots them and the way
and fight scenes back then too, like up to the 70s looked like shit.
Yeah,
they were awful.
Yeah.
They were super boring. I will say, though, that the end fight scene with Chuck Norris goes on for quite some time.
It does.
It's a long scene.
It is a long scene. Yeah.
And
the movie itself is like, I think, 90 minutes altogether or something. It's not
yeah.
the entire movie.
Yeah. It did feel long to me.
It's slow.
But because
the pacing is like it's slow.
It's just because I'm not into this type of movie, really, all that much.
Yeah.
Either. But I know that you love it, and that's why. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. And That's why I do this.
And episode 100
is coming up.
We have built this entire series of shows all the way up to the point where you can watch one of your favorite movies.
The next episode will be Time Cop. And I am so fucking excited because I have put watching that movie on hold for how long? The last 5 years?
Yeah, long because we have chronologically gone through all of the Van Damme movies, and now we are finally chronologically.
We're finally at Time Cop, and I am so excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. So tell your friends to subscribe to the show and get fucking ready.
Okay.
Because it's going to be great.
Yeah. And Genevieve's sitting over here and listening to this nonsense and watching this nonsense.
Yeah.
And tell your friends too, Genevieve, that that Time Cop is coming up. I'm sure so many people will be like, "Oh man, they're doing Time Cop? Cool."
Yeah.
All my friends.
Yeah.
All my friends are your
Oh, it's us. Shit.
All her friends are in this room. So.
And I told you also that
Yeah.
you like that Time Cop, but if it wasn't for this guy right here on the screen,
Time Cop would not exist.
There would
Yeah,
be no Van
yeah,
Damme.
okay,
There would be
okay.
no
All
Van
right,
Damme. You
all
can
right,
trace
all
the
right.
lineage, right?
I fucking get it, man.
You know him. You know me because of him, and you know Van Damme because of him. So just say Camaro, you are correct.
Camaro, you are correct.
Yeah.
How many Blu Its do you give this Camaro? I think I
Fuck,
know.
Are you kidding me?
I think I know how.
5 Blu Its.
Yeah, of course.
It's not
Yeah.
even a question in my mind.
If you could give it 10, you would.
I have back in the day I had a giant poster of him in his wife beater with the 2 nunchucks. And it's one of those like giant half wall. Do you remember when you could go to like a head shop?
Oh, yeah.
And they'd have these massive posters and all the red light or the black light posters and all that shit.
Yeah. You could go to Musicland and get one of those.
Yeah, but
Remember
like,
the poster? You'd have to like flip through the giant.
Oh, I love
giant
that.
things. Yeah.
The book of posters.
Yes.
That you
Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
I took
shit.
my kids recently to what was it? I think it was Hot Topic.
Oh yeah.
And like they still have that. And Tatum, my oldest,
Where was the Hot Topic? Where was
up at Alderwood.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And
Were they impressed?
Oh, she wants to get like every poster, right? But right now she's really into sports, into basketball, and so she's got like a Caitlin Clark poster up and stuff, and some Seattle Storm posters and stuff like that. So
Posters, man.
Yeah.
I still have a whole thing of a bunch of my old posters at home.
Do you?
That every now and then I dig around.
You got a Lamborghini in there?
I don't have a Countach. No.
I had a Diablo. I had a poster of a Diablo.
I've got tons of like Reservoir Dog posters and Bruce Lee posters. All this nonsense.
I had a Tracy Lords poster.
Oh my God,
That I
dude.
won at the
Fair?
At the fair. Yeah, from throwing darts.
Darts. Yeah.
You threw the darts at the.
I had so many of those posters.
Oh yeah, because it was the easiest thing because you just hit a poster and you're like, okay, you got it.
And then the burnout that was working behind there, you're like, I want the one where the girl's bending over and it says hauling ass. I meant to hit that one. He's like, all right, here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I never had. They never gave you the poster you won. Like if you wanted to swap it, they'd let you.
Oh, see, I always hit the poster.
Oh, I was terrible.
Yeah. I was
like,
just,
I was trying to hit
that
the one.
good. I was like the Bruce Lee of poster darts.
I love that.
Seriously.
Shit. All right, buddy. Well, that was a simple one.
Yeah, it was super quick.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on talking about the various fight scenes.
I know
the
you
multiple
could.
fight scenes in the alleyway.
But I got a pack for my vacation, man. Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, how many bullets did you say you're giving it?
I'm gonna give it 2.
You're gonna give it 2?
I mean, yeah, I'll give it 2.
Oh, you're warming up to it. Because really, if you think about the garbage movies we've watched,
it's not the worst.
It's not the worst.
It's not.
Right?
We're not at the complete bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
With this one, but yeah, I mean, I see that I can see what you enjoy about it. But it's just not for me.
Yeah.
It's just not for me.
All right, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go. You got a piece of dialogue you'd like to regale us with?
Boy, I could pretty much recite this entire movie.
I know you can.
And some of the funnier scenes are I probably shouldn't be doing the voices of. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you mean the character?
Yeah, he's got
overtly homosexual.
Yeah,
character?
he's got some great lines in the movie actually, but Mamma Mia! That's another terrible. That's another terrible line that's in the movie. No, that's it. Oh.
Come on, you gotta have something.
Movement number 4, Dragon seeks path. Dragon whips his tail. Cut print.
Movement number 4, Dragon seeks path. Dragon whips his tail.